Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Elise. You're probably sick of seeing this same look, but we're gonna do it one last time. So I felt like I should review this because I know a lot of people are picking it up at TJ Maxx now, and I've used it for an entire week to show what my thoughts are about it. So this is kind of like a first impressions, but a legitimate first impressions where I've had the time to kind of use it. I've used it every day since Sunday, so I've used it about 6 days. So I'm just going to go through the shades and kind of talk about the palette. I bought this for $20. This is my first ABH palette, so I don't have anything to compare it to. If I had to tell you what palettes I really like Juvia's Place. I like the Ace Beauty Classical Paradise palette. I have the Morphe 39A and I really enjoyed that. The Color Grade Vivid Pigments, I enjoy that as well. So I used this look today. I used this today for this look. I used Axis, and that was like the last shade I had not tried. It was a bit patchy. I actually just went over the blue again because it was just so patchy. I applied this about 4 hours ago, and I had to repeatedly pat it on to get some pigment, and it was showing up, but it wasn't the best, and I actually had applied it over a white base to get it to show up. And I know it would show up on its own, but I thought having a sticky white base. I used the NYX eyeshadow base here for that purpose. I just want to go through and say what my favorite shades are. I feel like Roxy is a really good shade. I really loved Electric. Electric, I have to say, is my favorite shade in this palette. New Wave and Edge, when I first used them, I was like, okay, these are great. These are really great colors because they don't look ashy on my complexion. And I don't know if I feel that same way because what happened was I decided to use Edge and New Wave together, and for a look, like an orange copper look, I was going to use New Wave, Edge, and Adorn together, and I ended up having to use my Lime Crime Venus 2 palette. So I used these two shades, Mustard and Jam, to kind of go over it because they had a better base, if that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and swatch so you can maybe tell the difference. Well, I feel like you can tell the difference just on my fingers. So this is the Lime Crime shade, this is New Wave, and this is Edge. So that's what they kind of look like on my arm. I'm sorry, it's not, hold on, let me see if I can. So that's what it kind of looks like. So this is the Lime Crime, this is New Wave, and this is Edge. As you can see, I think Edge and the Lime Crime shade I just showed you, Mustard, are very similar to each other. Yeah, I think they're the closest. This is the Subculture, and this is the Lime Crime. I think these are the closest. I think New Wave just comes off a little bit more peach on me, but it's not ashy, but it doesn't have the best undertone for my complexion. I'll leave it at that. So Fudge, basic brown, that's good. Rowdy wasn't too bad. I don't think I had any issues with Rowdy, not like I do with Axis. I did not try to get them to play together for sure because I feel like when this came out, I saw people trying to get them to play together and they didn't want to play together, so I wasn't going to make them. I used All Star. I didn't have any problems with that. I used it with my palette of the month, which is the She palette. I think this is a really good companion palette for the Subculture. I've used it multiple times this week with it. Dawn, I felt like it was a really good base. So what I did with Dawn was I used it on my lid, and then I used some, shuffling around over here, my Notoriously Morbid Shadow Bind. So I would pat Dawn, is that on? Yeah, Dawn. I'd pat Dawn on, and then I would pat this on, and then I would pat my loose pigment on, and it would have it show really, really well. Some people don't like shades like this because it's this isn't really for my skin tone, but I don't mind them. I actually use a shade similar to it in my named Cassie in my Magic palette right here, and I do the exact same thing I just mentioned, so I don't have any problems with having a cream shade. I feel like they can be really useful when you're wanting to use a really like pastel loose pigment. Destiny and Untamed worked really well together. I didn't have any problems. I used Destiny and Untamed with this Mercury shade, and they played well together. Cube, oh my gosh, y'all. I'm gonna link my Instagram so you can see this. I got so many compliments on using Cube. I actually got it to show up. Somebody told me that their Cube really wasn't that pigmented. That's my Cube. It's pretty pigmented, and I applied it with my finger too, so I had no problems. My Adorn is really soft. It's really soft, really metallic. I have no problems with that either. Let me go ahead and swatch Electric too, since that's like my favorite shade. So yeah, I love those shades. I love this palette. Like, even though I had issues with Axis, I feel like blues are really hard to make for one, and you know, it's one shade out of the palette. The other colors, like I said, I didn't really have any issues with. I patted this on just fine. Adorn, goodness gracious. Adorn, do it again. I used a loose pigment on top of it to make it show up better, but it was good on its own. I just like an extra punch with my like metallics. So if you see this at TJ Maxx, I definitely recommend picking it up. I mean, I don't know if I would spend $42 on it, to be honest, because like I said, like the colors that I was really rooting for were these two, and I have technically better mustard shades, but I wanted the overall aesthetic. Plus these duochromes and metallics are really good as well. It's making me kind of want to get the Prism palette because I love the packaging of this. I'm actually going to TJ Maxx today, and if I see the Prism palette, I'm getting it. Nobody can stop me because like I feel like the Prism palette, I watched Stephanie Nicole's review of it, and it compared Subculture to Prism, and it said, you know, they're not really that similar, and I think the Prism has more shimmers in it and less mattes. This has majority mattes. I think it has 12 shades. It has 3 shimmers. So that means it has 9 mattes in it. Like, that's really good. Like, a lot of palettes will give you a ton of shimmers that you really can't use like all the time, but like a matte, like I think that's why people got so upset. It's like because you gave me all these mattes and they don't play well together. But I used Destiny, Untamed, Edge, and New Wave together, and I didn't have any problems. I think like what's good about this palette is that you can kind of think of it as in quads, sort of. So like you could use these colors together, you could use these colors together. I would not use these colors together, but you could use these colors together and you would have like a really good like base. But I think it just gets a little bit difficult when you try to mix 2 darker colors together. Not saying that people weren't valid in their concerns, because like I said, this is my first one, so who knows, maybe I just got lucky. But for $20, I think it's a really good investment because the shades are really good. I get up really early sometimes, and all I had to do was just like visualize what I wanted and just go for it. I actually used this yesterday for a 15-minute look, and I was out the door. I used All Star, Mercury, I think that was about it, and Fudge possibly. But I didn't have any problems, like I said. So do you have the Subculture? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think this was a good buy? I feel like a lot of people bought it the same time I did, which is really strange. But I would love to hear your thoughts about it. If you're just getting the Subculture, please let me know. If you're thinking about it, let me know. And I'm going to link my Instagram below so you can see all the looks that I did with the Subculture this week. If you liked my vibe, you liked this review, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.